Our networks are central to building this cleaner, smarter, more interconnected energy system which exploits new data and digital technologies, and these facilitate the future net zero energy market. The government is predicting that we need 30 gigawatts of low carbon flexible assets and 27 gigawatts of interconnection, saving around 10 billion per annum in generation and between 20 to 70 billion in reduced system costs by 2050. To an extent, the industry is deep-rooted in keeping things private, secure, and that doesn't always lead itself to opening up data, processes and systems to general consumption. If data is the foundation of the energy transition, then we must start by fixing the problems that currently exist in operational and infrastructure data, and to ensure that they meet the right sort of quality standards, the right confidence in that data, to ensure that we can really use that to make effective business decisions that support, the development of the future energy system. But we need to embrace more quickly the opportunities and benefits that can be derived from IIoT and cloud services, because these technologies are now being made more relevant and applicable to the energy sector. They're more flexible, more scalable, and to a large extent can be operated at a much lower cost than existing systems and processes.
That has been one of the challenges that existing organisations face now, is they have data sets but they're in different places, different formats, and the task of being able to compare them and derive value, or even see if value does exist, is almost impossible. So having solid data foundations where you can bring in multiple data sets, put them together, apply the new technologies onto them, machine learning, algorithms, analytics of all different sorts, to be able to work out where the value is. And once you've found where the value is, then you can build the applications around that particular use case to extract the value. So the first thing that they need to do is be able to have systems that can collect data at that scale, and at a scale that is 5 or 10 times that in the future. But the key is you need to start developing the new functionality, the new additional features or whatever it may be to suit these new cases in your new system. Eventually you will be able to wean your way off of your old systems. Your new systems will take over, not only take over but expand the horizon of functionality they have that will meet these new demands of the market change.
The industry can benefit from IoT in the cloud by utilising these new smart sensors. They're a lot cheaper to produce. They essentially designed to collect the information and point it at any particular direction that you want for data storage. They use a whole bunch of new technologies that limit the bandwidth required to transfer information, and they only transfer the information that is important to the use case. The cloud technologies, on the other hand, with the likes of AWS and Azure, they specialize in creating data stores and data lakes that allow you to accumulate this information, plus associate to lots of information from the other parts of the business, from the automation system, the MES systems, and essentially create this massive pool of data that can then be utilized to understand what's happening with your assets, to build out asset performance management, to understand the condition of the assets in real time. They need to start embracing these new technologies, so particularly IoT, particularly cloud, to really help drive forward the growth in data information, data exchange, but also the improvements in data capture and really driving forward efficiencies in the whole process of managing, maintaining and controlling these assets. The future energy system can be supported by an open architecture because it will allow the different companies within this sector to pick and choose how they solve their problems in particular. But because the solution is an open approach, they know how to fit it in to this wider picture. And it's important that the companies still define how they want to solve problems. But they have to make sure that the way they define those problems fit into this open architecture approach so that it can be shared, it can easily be maintained, and it can be replaced by other things that come along which are better and more efficient in the future. IoT in the cloud is extremely relevant to the sector. Only they can answer if they're ready to adopt it, but from my opinion, they certainly need to adopt it to be able to get to where they want to get to in terms of the open data platform, being able to share the open data and being able to benefit and commercialize the data itself. It's only through adopting those technologies, whether it be through a consortium of technologies that are grouped together to offer a solution, or whether it be the individual operators picking and choosing the specific technologies which follow an open architecture which allow them to get to their vision. It's incredibly important for them to choose a direction, but without adopting the technologies themselves, they'll never get to where they need to get to.
But we mustn't forget, it isn't all about technology, it's as much about people, skills, capabilities and culture around data, and that's really going to support also the transition to our future energy system.